Hello, I'm Jayde Powell, and this is Mentally I'm Here, brought to you by Rula, a conversation on mental health and what it takes to navigate hustle culture and prioritize self-care. And today I am joined by these two lovely gentlemen. Hello.
Hey. Yeah.
Isaiah, Xavier, Corey Jones. How are you guys doing?
Feeling good. Feeling great. Happy to be here.
I know we've been yapping a lot behind the scenes.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, I know you guys mentioned that you're also content creators. I'm a content creator too. We love content creation, but it's very taxing. You know?
Yes.
It's a bit of a struggle sometimes. Like I think I'm going through a period in my life where I'm really loving the work that I'm doing. I feel like it's such a blessing and wonderful opportunity to be in this stage of my life where I actually like my job and feel like enthusiastic about waking up every morning. But I do think being so public facing sometimes can be a little bit of a struggle and just that pressure to constantly perform
And
like
show up,
do you guys feel like hustle culture is kind of tapping into your world in that way?
I feel like for me personally, the hustle culture kind of made me stop tracking some of the wins that I've had. Like I can have an accomplishment and then I move on to the next. Like, all right, I got that. Let's go to the next.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes my wife to remind me like, yo, you hit 100K on YouTube. Why you not celebrating this?
Yeah.
Like you doing this. Like, why you not, you got this at work. You need to, let's go out. I'm like, I got to get to the next thing. I got to a point in my life where I was like, something's going on. I'm not prioritizing myself. I'm prioritizing others, but I'm not taking time to prioritize what I want, what I want to do. I was like overachieving in a way to please others versus like pleasing myself.
Yeah.
So then once I got to that point, like, yeah, it's a wrap. Self-care took that high road from me.
I'm fortunate enough to say that I really was living in La La Land for a long time. And then I didn't think about self-care. And I heard about it and I would advocate for anybody else, but it wasn't a thing that I thought I needed. Because again, like life was just so great.
Yeah.
And then the shift for me was when I went to college and I was realizing like, oh, I'm in an environment that I don't want to be in and I'm doing things that I don't want to do. And I don't know what direction I'm going in. And I like was the first time that I ever experienced depression. And that for me, I said, what is going on? Yeah. And then at the time I'm like, oh, I'm just being lazy. And then my teacher literally sat me down because she knows me. She was like, you're a very charismatic, like energetic person. You always show up, you always participate. And me in the midst of thinking I'm just being lazy, she was like, hey, like, I don't want to tell you what you're going through, but I think you're depressed.
Yeah.
So girl, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I know what it is, but I thought this was like a thing that affected other people.
Right.
And then that for me was the moment where I was like, oh wait, I'm a human being that experiences like a wide variety of emotions and experiences can like affect me in different ways. And that started my mental health journey. Since then, it went from having no tools to deal with like anxiety or anything like that to now I'm like, I prioritize me, myself, and I a lot more. Before I thought I was just because, you know, like I love myself, but it's like, no, like to really establish a healthy relationship with yourself and understand what, you know, makes you tick and what, you know, soothes you and what makes you feel at peace and all those things. So that for me was the turning point, was when I first dealt with depression and realized that I'm, you know, no different than anybody else when it comes to dealing with mental health. Like, yeah, your past could have been great, but it's like, you know, things change. Yeah. And that's just a part of like getting older and growing pains and all those things. So yeah, self-care, it was like a night and day thing for me. I was like, ooh, I need to tackle this immediately because I'll be damned if I just let life happen to me and I don't do the things necessary to like make sure that I'm okay.
I've experienced depression. I still deal with anxiety to this day. And I was really struggling with paranoia when I first bought my home. I was living alone. So when I bought it, living in this new space, wasn't feeling super comfortable at first, even though I loved my home. And I would just have this like very irrational fear that someone was going to break into my home and kill me, which is like so wild because it's like, who said that?
Who said that? Who told you that?
Who told me that?
But
literally no
Who
one.
out to get you?
Yeah.
And that was actually my signal to start therapy. It was something that I definitely wasn't sure what the experience would be, but I was like, okay, I know some friends that have gone through therapy. Certainly no one in my family. So I was the first one in my family.
Period. Come on, trendsetter. Period.
But I had some friends, period, a trendsetter. But I had some friends that talked about it and it made me feel comfortable looking for solutions. And when I was able to find my therapist, I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. I think you have that perception where it's like you're laying on the couch You're like,
Staring
my
at
life
the
sucks.
Yes.
And I think I also thought my therapist was just gonna like fix my problems. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
It's more so about having the tools
Yeah.
and the resources to know how to act in situations like that. And what was really lovely for me was that my therapist just gave me permission. And she was just like, you can do whatever you need to do to feel safe in your house. And I was like,
Period.
you know what? Hell yeah.
I can. I can. You know what? You're right.
You're absolutely right. Because I live here. You're so
Exactly.
right.
When I was like 26, got married at an early age with a woman. We got divorced with less than a year of being together, married. So that experience made me start to see a little bit of things about myself where, like, how do I handle like a big transition like that? And I started to see where like my whole demeanor was changing and I didn't know why. And I was trying to mask like, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. Yeah, I'm out here in the streets now. I'm in Atlanta. Like, I'm cool. I wasn't, I wasn't. And I had to be real with myself because I would just sit in my room. I'd be like, dang, something missing. I don't know what it is. I feel like I just want to be in the house all the time. I feel like I don't want to go anywhere. And then that's when I was like, starting to notice like an impact in my work. So I was starting a new job, wasn't performing like I usually do. I was like, I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Like, I'm usually a high performer. I couldn't figure it out. And then it took one of the employees that I was working with at the time. We was just sitting down having a chat. And I just opened up to her like what was going on. And she was like, you know something, you might just need to talk to somebody about like what happened. And in my head, I was like, talk to somebody. My initial reaction was like, she's telling me like something wrong with me. Like,
Yeah.
But I took her advice, used our employee benefits, EAP, to talk with a therapist. They had a lot of different opportunities to find someone. And when I talked with that lady, I tell you, I left that session feeling so light.
Wow.
Listen.
I said,
Beautiful.
I need to continue this. And that's when I really started the journey to make sure that I'm well mentally, because I kind of seen where a brief instance where it can go left anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too, because as I talk to more friends that are really interested in getting a therapist, like there's all these things that make them feel like apprehension or they're scared. And I love that you spoke to the stigma, because that's very prevalent in the Black community. Like, it's like your mental health is almost seen as this thing that's like, it's going to be what it is.
Yeah.
But I think what's also interesting is that I've heard a lot of different stories from people, and sometimes like finding a therapist can actually be really challenging. Like, I always equate it to like dating. It's like you have to date a couple of people and, continue to put yourself out there before you find the right person. And I think that is a, misconception about when you're going after therapy solutions, that you immediately find the right therapist for you.
Yeah.
And the reality is sometimes it's like the first one, great. Or other times it's like you have to try a couple of people, find the right people. And I think that's why like Rula is really great, because they've created this platform where people can find more accessible options and affordable options. And then they can, shop around, feel what makes sense for them and find the right solutions for their needs. But I'm curious, like when you were able to make that connection, I know you said you felt like it was a lighter experience for you. Did you continue on with them for a while, or did you continue seeing other therapists?
Yeah. I did for probably a year, actually, a year. And then I got to a point where I felt great. And then I got a little bit busy and kind of put it to the wayside.
Yeah.
But, and I'm glad you mentioned like the opportunity that Rula gives to find a provider. Because honestly, when I was looking, I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to go, didn't know any platforms. So I was kind of asking around, and then that's when someone I was talking to at work was talking about the benefits that we had, and then they gave me the information. But yeah, if I knew something like Rula was around back then and they can kind of match you with somebody, and if that doesn't work out, you have the options there, I think that would have been perfect.
Rula, I was going through the search engine when it comes to like you said, the window shopping. You can like choose what days of the week you're free, and then like, okay, like they serve these communities. Boom, 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 boom. I said, oh, this, like you said, it would have been easy as hell.
Yes.
Sorry. It's just go through it like this. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, Rula ate that, because I'm just like having, again, like the experience that I had, like I'm so fortunate, but again, I have so many friends who are like, yeah, that wasn't mine. Like I went through a couple people.
I do want to do a little extra sass. So I'm going to say an affirmation, and I'm going to have you repeat after me. Okay. My value is not tied to my productivity.
My value is not tied to my productivity.
I don't have to carry everything alone.
I don't have to carry everything alone.
Rest is not a reward. It's a requirement.
Rest is not a hello. Sorry.
It's a requirement. That is so true.
I love my 8 hours. I'm so sorry. I felt that in my spirit. I said, woo.
Mentally, I am here, and that is enough.
Mentally, I am here, and that is enough.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure talking to both of y'all.
Real.
Thank you again for watching, y'all. This has been Mentally I'm Here, brought to you by Rula. Check out Rula.com because getting started with therapy is easier than you think.